Jalen and Chris Wilkes both played at a very high level. How much does it kind of boost what this team can do when you got those two freshmen playing like that, 10 assists, 1 turnover, and then Chris making 6 out of 7 shots?
Well, we're only playing 8 guys, and 3 of them are freshmen, so when the freshmen play well, that obviously helps us, you know. So, and both Chris and Jalen played really well, and so but that's what's expected of those guys. Right. And Chris has been, I think Chris has been really consistent here. And Jalen's starting to get to that point because I think he's improved defensively. He's improved with his decision making, and because I've said all along, I think he's really hard to guard. So the more we can get those two playing at a high level, it obviously helps us.
You think you'll go with this new starting lineup you've used the last couple of games?
I think it's something that we obviously can look at. Whether we stay with that or how long I stay with that, I've never put onus in it as much as probably other people do as far as starting lineups, as much as I do how do we start games, how do we finish games, what's the best combinations to do that, and we're constantly looking and tweaking with that kind of stuff. But I do like what happened in our last 2 games. I like how that 4-guard lineup looked, but I also liked what I saw off the bench with Alex and Gigi. I thought they came in and did a lot of good things, and I think Chris Smith just continues to get better. Every game that he plays, he's getting better and better.
Talked about the defense triggering those highlight plays like the windmill dunk and the lob between the legs. Was it, when you go back and watch film, is that fun to kind of point that out and say, if we do this, then we can get these plays? Yeah,
well, I think the things we try to point out is when we're fundamentally sound and do the things that we're supposed to do defensively, we get more stops. And when we get more stops, we get out in transition. And we have always been a very good transition team, and this team is a very good transition team. So getting the ball out that way is a lot quicker than taking it out. And if we're always taking it out, we slow down and we allow defenses to get set. So it's been a learning process. It's been a curve that they've had to go through some trial and error of learning that. Most young guys do. And with 5 of the 8 not having to go through it last year, I think that's stuff that just kind of evolves. But if we just look at, really, we'd won 6 out of 7. We had a bad stretch once Colorado hit us, and then we had to go on the road. I do like how they responded coming back to home, and now, we get our toughest test we've had, in this building since Cincinnati. So it'll be interesting to see how we respond to that.
How do you plan on dealing with USC's size? They're second in offensive rebounding in conference play.
Well, it's not so much size because we're as big. I think we're top 10, top 15 size-wise in the country. So it's not so much size as it is athleticism, and they're hard to guard because they got so many guys that can score. You got a lot of guys that can shoot the basketball. You're talking about great talent. I've said it at the beginning of the year. I thought the 2 teams in our league that had superior talent, top to bottom, was Arizona and SC. And they've got that. So that's what makes them hard to guard. They got guys that can pass, shoot, and dribble it, and they're very athletic to go with that. So they got a lot of weapons offensively, and I think Jordan does a terrific job of just orchestrating that offense.
You talked a little bit about the contributions Alex and Gigi have made off the bench. I think against Stanford, Gigi came in first possession offensive rebound, second possession, and 1 layup. Do you like that energy and presence he brings off the bench? Yeah,
and Gigi's one of those guys really understands how to play. Big time basketball IQ, and he gets it. And I thought we'd seen a little bit of slippage, and I told him it wasn't about punishment as far as all of a sudden he's coming off the bench. It was we'd lost 3 games in a row. We got to do something to kind of just energize the whole team, him included. And I thought he really played well in those 2 games. I thought he did a lot of good things offensively, but he got back to doing the things we need him to do defensively as well. Everybody's always got something they got to do better with him. He's just got to continue to rebound. 6'11", we got to have him being more of a rebounding force, and I think that's what he's working on.
And Chris Wilkes, you kind of mentioned the 4-guard lineup kind of took him out of rhythm, especially picking up quick fouls. 2 quick fouls.
Well, he picked up quick fouls, but he was real efficient in those 2 games. I mean, you look at efficiency, those 2 games, regardless of fouls. If he did get out of rhythm, he got back in rhythm because at the end, those were 2 games that he was really, really good.
I know you have very different situations, but do you have any empathy for what USC's gone through? Because you both have had kind of difficult circumstances this year that you've kind of had to persevere through.
Yeah, I mean, totally different.
Right.
No, I obviously I don't know all the ins and outs of there. It's really about what we're trying to do more than anything else. So we're just trying to move forward. We had a tough thing that hit us in China to start the season, and I think these guys have battled and worked and done, you know, everything they possibly could do each day and each week to get better and better. And those are the things I appreciate. But I'm not around that program or know the ins and outs of, so it wouldn't be, you know, it's not fair for me to talk about somebody else's program. I never wish ill will on anybody's program. So we've got enough that we got to deal with on a daily basis, just making our young men get better and understand how to play this game at a high level. And I think our young men have done that. They've really responded well.
What's been the key to kind of persevering through your situation, do you think?
Well, we've been very fortunate. We've stayed away from injury, other than Tom being banged up a lot since conference season. But of just keeping the guys of understanding, control what you can control, and whether it's 8 guys or 7 guys or 9 guys, you know, like Ike and Alec Wolf, you know, those two have been on call. And, you know, it's about them staying in shape, them staying sharp, never knowing when I got to go to them. I've had to go to Ike a couple times. We haven't had to go to Alec yet, but I've got confidence both in Alec and Ike that if I had to go to that 9th or 10th guy, I think those guys are ready. So it's about just whatever your role is, be ready to do that role and have your responsibility and do it as well as you possibly can. And I think those guys are doing that. You know, it hasn't been an effort. We haven't, you know, I think the only time that I've questioned their effort or being flat was the first 15 minutes of the Colorado game. And outside of that, you know, they've been giving me everything they've got. And are they going to make mistakes? Yeah. That's all part of young guys learning. But it's been a joy to coach this group because they just keep fighting, and we're seeing that. And that's something we got to continue to work on.
Coach, when dealing with a roster of younger guys, how do you attack the defensive game planning for teams like SC and Arizona?
I don't think it's anything different as far as what we got to do. We just got to get better at what we do. You know, we're not going to go into the SC game and change who we are. I think that's the wrong approach because we've been doing this now since, I can't say October because we practiced one way up until November, but really since the China trip, we've practiced one way. If this is what we wanted to get good at, both offensively and defensively. So we're not going to change any of that mindset or identity of who we are. We just got to get better at it. And we've had a week here to work on things, and I think the guys have gotten good rest, and yet we've gotten good work, and we got 2 more days here to work at it and get ready for it. But when you play a team as talented as SC, you have to play well. You know, we're not going to, you know, we can't be naive to think that we're going to be on our CD game and think we're going to win. We got to be at the top of our game, both offensively and defensively.
How does the practice routine change during USC week? Because you usually have a game on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, just we went at it pretty good Monday and Tuesday, and then on Wednesday really backed off and just did some individual work, but no tape. Didn't go at each other, and then we'll go at each other today, and then back off a little bit tomorrow because we got an early start time at 3 o'clock. So, but we want to maximize rest, but also maximize the ability to get in the gym and work on some things that we need to get better on. So it's about finding that balance, getting some lifts in, staying consistent with what we're doing. It's not like we're going longer hours, but when you don't play that midweek game, it gives you an opportunity to practice a little bit more, and we've tried to do that.
We have time for one more question.
They won, I think, 6 in a row. What do you think's been that's kind of come together for them?
Well, one, they've been pretty healthy other than Benny, who's kind of been in and out with the foot, but they've been healthy through this stretch and just getting in rhythm. You know, they lost that first early game, I think it was to Washington at home, and since then they've just really gotten good rhythm. Very, very good offensive team that defensively gives you a lot of problems because they're long, they're athletic. Good rebounding team, good shot blocking team. They do a good job of mixing man and zone to try to keep you off balance. So it's just a very, you know, they go 9 deep of very good talent. And I think they've gotten in rhythm where they've played well. And they've played well away from home, they played well at home. So, you know, just like what we did against the Oregon trip, I think we're getting a team that's hot and playing well.